Okay, Steve, I think the first thing you have to know right off the bat is to know that no matter how advanced you are, or how advanced you think you are, you have to always get back to the basics. First thing is, especially on your feet, is that you have to go back to stance. In stance, there are certain parts of your body you have to concentrate on. And the first thing you have to worry about is your head. Okay? And we're going to look from head to foot and look at each part and make sure that we're doing what we're supposed to do with that part of the body. With our head, we have to make sure that we're not looking down. We have to kind of look where we're going. And my head is up. I don't have to worry about being snapped down. As soon as I start putting my head down, my weight starts going forward. Okay, I start making that L shape and getting my weight forward, and it's very easy for someone just to do like a karate chop, just to snap me down. So I'm going to keep my head up. Okay, and look to where I'm going. And as we get into some tie-ups, it's going to be very important that you keep your head up. Next thing you have to worry about is keeping our elbows in. Okay, our first line of defense is our hands. Our second line of defense is our elbows. Our third line, and we hope we're not in that particular position, is our hips. We hope that we get them with our hands first. So we have to make sure our hands are out and elbows in. Okay? The reason why I want my elbows in is I don't want a guy to be able to duck under, okay, or to, if I'm extending my arms, to arm drag or to post, or to shoot on a single or double or high crotch rep. I want my hands here, my elbows in, so I have control. Okay, my necks, and they kind of go together. My hips and my knees. If I put my hips down, my knees bend. Very hard to put your hips down without bending your knees. Okay, so my hips and knees work together. Put my hips down, my knees bend. Okay, and I have to feel comfortable. Okay, I can't stand like this and bend. I've got to widen my base. My base would be my feet moving them further apart. So I have that comfortability of being down, okay, and having good movement. Okay, and the way I have movement or motion is not through back of my heels. I think if you look at any athlete, whether it's a football player, whether it's a baseball player, a basketball player, any athlete, they're never on their heels. It's impossible to work on your heels. You just don't have the ability. Okay, and what you do is you actually post your weight, okay, in one spot, and you're very vulnerable to being taken down. So I think you always have to be on your toes. You have to be on the balls of your feet, okay, and weight the balls of your feet so you have good ability back and forth. Okay, so stance. Again, stance is important because what happens with stance is as long as I can maintain position, and you're here to talk about position a lot, because position is important, okay? The way I create a takedown is by the offense and moving you out of position. If you get in your stance, head up, elbows in, hands out front, knees bent, hips down, and the ball's my feet. And now it's my job as the offensive wrestler to come after you and make you create a mistake. And the mistake might be getting your head down. Now, how would I get your head down? Well, I might take a shot. And as I take a shot, if you're sprawling back, you're going to bring, the possibility is you're going to bring your head down. Okay, or if I want to create your elbows from being in tight to actually coming out, what I might do is I actually might move in. Because what happens is when I start crowding you, you're going to start reaching. That's another error. So my job as the offensive wrestler is to take you out of position. And that's how I create my offensive shot. Okay? So stance is important. What you try to do is you try to stay in stance, okay, and position from the start. And try any type that you move into and take control of, you want to try to stay in that position. You don't want to get out of position. Okay, so let's now talk about talk about stance. Okay, and now let's talk about motion. Because if we're starting, it used to be where you would start way far apart, 10 feet apart. Now you start in together, but what you have to do is instead of taking shots from the outside all the time, now what you've got to concentrate on, and it's going to be more advantageous to you, is to move in closer to take a shot. I think it's only common sense to notice that my chances of getting a takedown on you from here, from this distance, are less than if I move in and get closer. I think that's common sense because your legs are closer. Okay, it's easier for me to tie up, to move you, to create you, to make mistakes, and to get it easier on your legs. So I think, especially in high school and on down to grade school, I think your most common practice of wrestling is wrestling from the outside. And what you have to do is you have to learn how to get comfortable, how to stay in position and move towards the guy and tie up safely. So we're going to talk about not being a real risk taker, which would mean not reaching, not having our head forward. You don't want to create a situation where you as a defensive wrestler, if I'm the offensive wrestler, you become a defensive. I don't want to create any mistakes that's going to allow you to counter me. So what I want to do is, as far as movement, let's go into movement or motion, whatever you want to call it. There's essentially 3 types of motion. Okay, and I think if you look at it and analyze it, you'll find out that 3 basic motions are, okay, if I move into it, that's what I call forward and backwards. Or if you want to call pushing, okay, and as you push back, okay, pulling, okay, that's one motion. I think the other motion you have to keep in mind is not only can I go forward and backwards, okay, but I can change direction and go side to side or lateral. I can push and push back. Now I can change and go lateral. Okay? So we're talking pushing and pulling, going lateral, side to side, and then the last one, of course, is now it's up and down. It's up and down. So if you look at it, it's up and down, it's forward and backwards, and it's side to side. The 3 basic motions. Okay, and starting with your stance. Okay, if you have good stance, now the next thing is to move in closer with the guy. Okay, because again, going back, I don't want to take a shot out here. I might have a 50-50 chance of getting in your leg. Because by the time I reach your leg, okay, what I'm doing is I'm telegraphing. I'm telling you, I'm going to be shooting in. So by the time I telegraph and you receive the signal, you're going to have reacted. You're going to have pulled that leg back, okay, put your weight on top of me, make my job harder as the offensive person in getting a takedown. So what I have to do is I have to confuse you. Okay, I have to create a state of confusion by moving in closer. First of all, I have to have good motion. And my motion is, first of all, to stay down, to circle, okay, and move it at the same time. And again, going back to our stance, what we talked about was being on our toes. I can't have good motion on my heels. I've got to be on my toes. And I've got to be able to circle. Okay, the way I circle is I go toe-to-toe. Okay, I do what's called shuffling. And the way the shuffle is just, okay, it's like replacing. Okay, I move this foot over, I replace that foot. Okay? And that's why I do the shuffle. So as I shuffle, I also go forward because I take my steps forward. Okay? And I move in closer. Now, moving from stance, okay, to motion, and now finally we're working in close into a tie-up situation. And we're going to pretty much go through a number of types just to show you that you have that availability to go from one to the next, to the next, to the next. And that's what tying up is a complete movement from one thing to the next until you see that opening, until you see that shot, until he's creating an error. And that's your job to do on a tie-up, is make him create an error, make him open up, make him put his head down, make his open his elbows up, make his legs straight, make his weight back on his heels. That's what you have to do when you have a tie-up situation. Okay? Now, we said before that guys can usually tie up wrong. Okay? And I don't know if it's by habit, by laziness or what, but a lot of guys have a tendency to reach. Okay? And the reason why they reach is because in order for me to do a takedown, okay, it's, again, going back to common sense. If I can't touch you, okay, I'm not close enough. Therefore, I'm not going to get a good shot on you. So the reason why people reach is why? Why do you think a person reaches?
So if they're close enough.
So if they're close enough. So if I can touch you, you're close enough. But why should I create an error? Why should I reach out, take my elbow from my side, and create an error, and give you that opportunity to shoot in on me? I shouldn't have to do that. And I think what you want to keep in mind is that you have other alternatives as opposed to reaching with your hands. And that alternative is we talked about the head, talked about positioning your head, keeping it up, and looking to where you're going. And this is what we're going to use. We're going to use our head as a way of posting. Okay, and as long as you stay in your stance, you're going to be comfortable and you're not going to have to worry about being taken advantage of. Creating an error. Okay, and what I'm going to do is, again, go back to my motion, my circle, lower my level, move back and forth, move in, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my head and I'm going to post it on your shoulder. Okay, post it in your chest, right in here. And that's a way of telling me that I'm close enough. I'm sure if I can touch you with my hands, that's close. But if I can touch you with my head and I can post and look up into your chest, I would say I'm fairly safe in saying that I'm close enough. You know? And that's what I want to do. I want to use my head. And the other reason is, when I touch you with my head, and I post on you, what is your reaction?
Post back.
To post back. And how do you think most guys post back?
With their hands.
With their hands. And what do we talk about? We talked about position, talked about being in a stance. So if I move in and I post my head, there's your mistake. There's your error. Because now what you've done is you've posted on the outside, you've taken your elbow out from your body, and then what that does, that leaves my opening of attack. And again, by posting my head on your shoulder, now I've created that opening, and now I have my avenue of attack. Okay, so the next thing I want to do is be able to, either if I don't have a good enough opening, to create some sort of tie-up situation where now I can start to move you and start to create that opening of attack. So when I post my head, when I move in and I post my head, what I'm waiting for is I'm waiting for you to tie up. Again, I want to keep my position. I want to keep my weight down on my toes, my head up, and my hands up and in. Because what's going to happen is you may try to slap me down because you think my head's down, but really my head is not down. And I don't want you to get in the habit of spearing. I don't want to spear you in the chest. Because what that dictates is that my head is down. I'm looking down, my weight is forward. Now you can't chop me down. And now I have no way of getting my weight shifted back up underneath me. By keeping my head up, my weight is underneath me. In order for me to keep my head up, I've got to get my hips up underneath. But if I start turning my head down, that's when I start making an L shape. That's when I start getting my weight forward. So you've got to post with your head right. Move in, post it right in your chest. Now I wait for your reaction, and then I take my recourse. And that recourse results in a tie-up. I'm going to maybe, as you post, you can relax and get in your stance, relax, get in your stance, and then you tie up as you see to do so. What I'm going to do is I'm going to come up inside. Okay? This might be the first type that I go to. Up inside, again, elbows in, up inside, and now I just hook on. I don't grab, because if I grab your arms, you're going to pull back. But if I hook your arms, now you can't pull back. And now what I would do is I can start my motion. I can push. Okay, as you push back, I circle, and now I snap. Okay, and that's the way, when you take a tie-up, that's how you use a tie-up. It's push, circle, snap. Push, circle, snap. Push, circle, snap. Because that's how I get you moving. Okay, I control my tie-up. Okay, good position. Here's our stance position, no errors. Push, circle, snap. Okay, push, circle, snap. Okay, push, circle, snap. And that's just one tie-up. But with any tie-up, that's a general course. You should push, because if I push in, what happens? You push back. I get that resistance back. Okay? And by using that resistance, first of all, I can use it as penetration. Because if all I have to do is lower myself, and you're going to push yourself right over top of me. So if I want a double leg or single leg or fireman's carry or throw, whatever, I'm using your momentum to toss you. Okay? And then as I push and you push back, now what I've done, okay, I'm using your resistance, and as your resistance comes into me, running is on a sidestep. Okay? To make you turn, to make you commit a leg, okay? By pushing in, you push back, I snap, now you've committed yourself, you stepped in, and there's my attack. Okay? And if I push, and I circle this way, okay? Now you've stepped with that leg. Or if I push, okay, and don't circle either way, but just snap down, now both your legs are committed. And that's essentially how I use, again, the motion. Pushing and pulling, or forward and backwards, or circling, side to side, and lowering your levels. Okay? Lowering your levels comes in. When I lower my level, forces you to lower your level. Okay? And if I'm pulling down, you're doing this. You want to push up. So as you push up, you leave yourself exposed. You use the pushing, or forward and back, or pushing and pulling, to actually gain momentum, to gain penetration. You use the circling to create the angle that you need. And then you use the up and down motion to get the guy to extend, to take him from this position, okay, of having more ability to guard his legs to where he's extended, and now he's vulnerable to attack. And those are the three movements that you use. And with your tie-up essentially allows you to hold on safely without risk. And allows you to then take control, move the guy to where he opens up, to where he can, to where he's vulnerable. Okay. Now talk about posting with our head. And again, we don't reach. As soon as I reach, I've committed myself. I've opened up. I've created an error. So I posted my head to avoid that. I come up inside, I may hook on here, just coming in, what I call a double bicep tie, and hooking, okay? Or I might take a collar tie, which essentially is keeping one arm, one bicep tie, coming across, and again, a lot of guys make the mistake of doing this as a collar tie. My elbow's up, I'm vulnerable. But if I concentrate on keeping my elbows in front of me, kind of like a praying mantis when they're feeding on prey, keep my arms in front of me when my elbows are there for my ability to defense in case he starts moving in on me. If I take that kind of concept, I'm going to have a nice collar tie. And again, I work my collar tie the same way. I'm pushing down, I'm circling, and I'm lowering my levels. And there you are committing. Okay? I can come over ankle pick, I can do a lot of different things. But what it does is it keeps me in a safe position, but also allows me to move you, to make an opening. And you just don't go one direction, okay? Now I shift. Once I've taken this direction, I shift. I come back across, I lower my levels, okay, and I switch arms. Okay? And I might come back to my bicep tie. Okay? Come back across to my collar tie. And now you're starting to put them together. You're not relying on one tie-up. You're using a couple of safe tie-ups and moving the guy. And the more tie-ups that you use gives you the better ability of making that guy create a mistake. all a guy knows that you can do is a collar tie, he's going to find a way of defensing against that. Okay, but if you know a collar tie, if you know a double bicep tie, if you know how to underhook, okay, again, head to chest, underhook, pushing away, okay, again, elbows are in, underhook, pushing away, okay, if you know, okay, a Russian arm tie, take it off, give me my Russian arm tie, and now, again, go to my movement, my circling, my snapping, my pushing, my circling, okay, my snapping. Okay? And that's how I use a Russian arm tie. It's another tie-up that you can use. Okay? And again, going from inside bicep tie to collar tie, to your Russian arm tie. You can also go into an over and under tie. Okay? Which essentially, again, as I move my head in, okay? As I move my head in, okay, I start posting. Okay? First I'm going to touch. Now I'm waiting for your reaction. And again, any type I take, I want to come up inside. Okay? I don't want to reach around and go out. I always try to concentrate on keeping position, coming up inside. And now, when I go for my over and under tie, or if you want to call it chest to chest, whatever you want to call it, okay? I come up inside, and elbows in, and hook. Hook with one side, and that would be the same side as my head is on. That's my overhook side. The underhook side is the far side. Okay? And then what I do is called pummeling. I pummel my arm down and underneath, and now come up underneath your far side. And I hook on your shoulder blade. So actually you have my elbow in on the far side, okay, on my underhook side, and I also have my elbow in on my overhook side. My head now has moved from in the chest area up to your shoulder area. Okay, I've replaced where my head was posted with my shoulder. My shoulder is posted where my head was before. And that's the kind of position I want. Because I have my elbows in, it's almost under my stance position again. My head is up, okay, my elbows are in, my hips are down, I have my head, I have to move it. Except now, what I think I'm going to do is I want to try to make you work a little bit. You have to understand, not only can you get points in a match, but you can get psychological. Not only outright points, scoring points, but you also can get psychological points, wearing the guy down. And the way you wear the guy down is learning how to position your weight on top of the guy. Okay, I can make you work. Okay, I can make you tired from a tie-up. Okay, if I get on your arm and I hang your arm with a Russian arm tie, okay, if I hang on your arm with a Russian arm tie, I can make you tired here. Okay, or if I'm collar tying, I'm putting your head down. I can make you tired. I can make my weight carry on your head. Okay? Or if I get in my over and under, I can make you carry my weight from here. And the way I do it, okay, is I kind of lunge in. Now, granted, I don't want to be very forceful. I want to, I have to know when is when. Okay, again, moving my head into your chest. What I want to do is be able to, first of all, tie it safely, okay, with my over and under, get you to commit yourself by reaching, okay, because I'm not going to move. I'm just going to keep pushing in. Okay, and I think if I push in, that's going to cause you to react to tie up in some manner. And then from your tie up, I go to my tie up. Okay? And I hope that you create a mirror, which you have because you left this out. But I'm going to come up inside, overhook on this side, where my head is to, okay, overhook it. Keep that elbow in, underhook the far side. So, and I hook. I don't grab. I hook. I hook that tricep. And now I move my head up. I replace my head. I'm looking right into your chest now. Again, my stance position hasn't changed. I'm going to move my hand underneath. It's what we call pummeling. What we do is we force our hand up underneath, shoulder in the chest, okay, or the rear right side of your chest. Okay? Underhook, hook your shoulder blade, and now I hook the tricep, and now I elbows in. Again, my stance position. Okay, head up. Okay, elbows in, hips down, on my toes. And now something, just add a little bit. Okay, well, I told you before, I want to make you pay the price as far as not only scoring points against you, but I want to wear it down. And one of the ways I can wear it down is by putting my weight in. The way I get my weight in is all I do is I just drop my hip. I drop my hip in and against you. And you feel it. Yeah, I think you can feel it right. On my toes, I have good mobility, I have good base, hip is in. Good position. And now I'm ready to work. And again, we go back to our motion. I can push into it, which does what? You push back in, okay, and again. And as you push back in me, I can circle either side. I can pull this side, circle this side, I can pull a circle that side. And again, the last motion would be, when I want to push a circle, with a drop. Let's push, drop, and get you angling. Okay, angling, dropping, opening up to create my shot. Okay? Again, I want to wear you down because you have to understand you learn technique throughout your career. And if you can condition yourself throughout a match where your technique doesn't fail you, okay, and you don't get tired, your technique is going to remain the same, and your opponent is going to wear it down, and your technique is going to be the same, and you're going to score. So if I can wear you down, okay, before I start getting tired, and hopefully that doesn't happen, you're going to start failing before I do, you're going to be creating your mistakes before I do, and I'm going to be scoring before you do. And that's what I want to do to you. Not only do I want to keep good technique, keep good positioning, but now I want to start to work my weight against you in a safe manner. And the way I do it is, again, head in the chest, okay, circle in, head in the chest, hips down, head up, elbows in, on my toes, okay? Come up inside, not outside. Try to always come up inside, okay? Overhook, underhook, over and under, chest to chest. Again, my head comes up now, I'm safely in there. Now I can start to hold on, to keep you tight, and pummel in, the shoulder and the chest. Okay? And as I do that, I start dropping my hip in. Okay? And when I pull, hip in. Not square, and hip in. You start hooking and holding on here, keeping this tight, hooking on your shoulder blade, keeping this tight. And now I can start to work it. So pushing, as I push in, you push back. As you push back, I start going back. I let you do that. And as I let you do that, then I start pulling down, snapping down. Okay, either on my underhook side or my overhook side. Again, lower levels. Okay, make an even step and try to straighten up even further. And that's how I work my over and under. Now, there are going to be times when you catch a wrestler who may be just as good as you, maybe a little bit better than you. It's going to give you a harder time when you get into this over and under position. I talked about pummeling in, okay, coming in and under your arm, forcing in. And what's going to happen is this guy's not going to, just not going to stand there and let you do this. What he's going to try to do, he's going to try to fight back, okay? He's going to try to fight back. So if I go head in your chest and I start going into my over and under, what you're going to try to do as an equal competitor of mine is try to come in on the far side. And what I mean by coming in is going inside, trying to stay inside, just like I stay inside. And as you come inside, okay, you get me into a vulnerable position, because what you like to try to do is try to get double unders and suck me in and put me to my back. But I'm not going to do that. I'm a little smarter than that. So I go ahead in the chest, okay, I go inside, over and under. As you start to come in, okay, as you start to force in, again, I got my hip in. I don't want to let you do that. But as you start to do that, now I'm going to switch sides on you. Because what I'm going to try to do is I'm going to try to force in on this side, because I don't want to let you get double unders. I have to stay equal or get an advantage over you. So you start to come in over this side, I'm going to come in over this side. I'm going to start to go under, and what we're going to do, we're going to change roles, change sides. Now I've changed from having an underhook on this side to having it on this side. And I've changed from having an overhook on this side to an overhook on this side. And now I've changed from having my head on the far side to being on this side. My shoulder shoulder is on your chest again, on your left side of your chest now. I'm on my toes, and instead of having this hip in, my other hip's in. So I've changed sides on you, and now I'm ready to work this side. And what happens is, again, maybe I don't feel comfortable on the side. I try to come in this side, and what happens? You try to come in the other side. So again, we switch sides again. Now in the process, I've lost something that I didn't like to lose. And the way you get it, at least try to get an advantage over the guy, right off the start. And what I did to you right off the start was I went with my head in your chest, I came up inside, and I kept my elbows in. So as I went into my over and under tie-up, this elbow's in, this elbow's in. But as we started pummeling, and that's essentially what we did when you tried to force in, you tried to force in over here, and I forced in over here, what happens is I start to lose the inside control. We are even now. So what I have to do is I have to try to get it back. And the way I get it back is by really trying to shift my hips. Okay? Trying to shift my hips. And if you watch my hips are really going to shift drastically. So that what happens is I pull this arm back, I keep my elbow in, and as you start to pummel in, it forces you to come back outside. So as I'm moving on the hook position, okay, if you start even, as you start pummeling, if you watch, okay, if you not want to change your hips drastically like I am, see how I change it drastically? I really turn them, and I pull this elbow in. So what happens is by concentrating to keep my elbow in, it forces you to actually I guide your arm, your hand, outside, and then I get back into my inside control position. Gets you back into that advantage position. Because when I'm there, I can be real devastating. Because what I've done is I've cut down your offense. When we're here, when we're over and under, okay, I have an overhook and an underhook. I have an overhook and an underhook. What do you have? You have the same thing. You have an underhook, you have an overhook. Okay, we're even. But as we pummel, and I'm really shifting my hips, okay, as I shift, okay, they come in. As I shift my hips, and I really pull that elbow in, now it forces you to come outside. And as you come outside, then I latch on. And now, see, I've just taken away some of your technique, okay, because I've put you on the outside. Okay, you don't have the underhook anymore. You've got two overhooks. I've got two underhooks. So I have an advantage in that I'm inside. And that's how you have to take some time in order to pummel, try to gain an advantage. Okay, again, going back to what we said before, we don't want to shoot from the outside. You have to try to work in close, tie up, and use that tie up, not only to stay safe in our position, but also to create an opening for myself. Okay? And we can, this over and underhook is very versatile. I can just do just about anything I want to do. Okay? I can shoot double legs, I can shoot single legs, I can shoot high crotches, I can do underarm spins, arm throws, shoulder throws, I can do soft throws, I can do duck unders, I can do cut drags, fireman's carries, crotches, foot sweeps. There's so many things I can do from this positioning. Okay? But you have to know, first of all, you have to keep good stance. You have to know how to move into it, which you have to have good movement, correct position, and not reaching, moving in safely. You have to learn how to tie up and learn how to maintain it. Okay, get yourself comfortable where you feel that the guy can't take you down. When I move into you, okay, when I circle move in, I get my head in, okay, and I block you out right here, and this is what we call block out. Because what I do is I'm actually forcing you to stay on the outside. I block. I keep my elbows in. I block them out. I feel that, heck, you don't have a chance, you don't have a prayer of shooting on me. That's the real way I feel. And that's the kind of confidence you have to have in order to make this tie-up work. Okay, and now what I can start to do is I can start my motion. I can start pushing, I can start circling, I can start snapping, and now create my opening for my finish off. And you have to understand, most people in general that to jump to the end. What's so exciting about the end? That's where you score the points. No one wants to concentrate on the techniques involved, okay, as far as stance, as far as motion, as far as positioning, tying up correctly. Everyone wants to jump to the end. If you're the type of person that wants to jump to the end, you're the type of person that's going to forget everything before that. You're the type of person that's going to create the mistakes, and you're not going to have a good shot. You're not going to have a good finish off. So you have to take it 1, 2, 3. You have to know how to have good stance, tie up safely. Okay, that would be your first phase. You have to know how to maintain it. And what I mean by maintaining is feeling comfortable with it, building up your confidence so that you know that the guy can't do much with you. Once you've done that, then you can start to move to the third phase, and that's the movement and the actual finish off, what I call finish offs. And that's where you score your points. Okay? So, let's move into going from our over and under. Okay? Everything that we've done so far leading up to our over and under tie, let's start doing some finish offs. But let's start out with fundamentals, something that you have an idea on. Okay, and let's work progressively into more advanced techniques. And it's something that you've probably never done before, or haven't had that much exposure to. So, let's start off with, and you got to look at it at a national, international level. If you look at that type of competition, the basics win. Your single legs, your double legs, your high crotches. Those are the type of moves that work. I'm not guaranteed you're going to see some other, you're going to see some throws that are going to be intermixed, which makes it, the part of wrestling fun to see. But you get back to basics win. So let's start with basics and let's move to the fun stuff. Okay? So now, what I want to do is, again, move into my over and under series, over and under tie-up. Again, good position, okay, good stance, good motion, move in, head and the chest. Okay? Good safe tie-up. Okay, I force you to tie up. Okay, so you start posting, and now what happens, I come up inside, I get into my over and under series here. So, I got my underhook, my overhook, okay? Good stance position, good position right here. And now, next one I'm going to do, let's start off with just a simple single leg. Okay? And what I'm going to do is I'm going to use my 3 basic motions. I'm going to push. When you start to push, I start to circle back, and as I circle back, what I'm going to do is lower my elbow and snap. So as you push, and you push back, I'm going to circle and snap. Okay, and what it's going to do, it's going to post this leg right here. It's going to post that leg. It's going to make it stationary, in which now I can attack it. It's going to make it closer and stationary, where I can attack it now. I'm pushing, you push back, a circle, a side step, circle, and snap down, roll it up. Now, what you've done is stepped. Now, because I'm inside, it's easy for me to raise this far side up, so I can drop my head. And as I drop my head, I penetrate, step to the outside. I meet your foot. Okay? I raise, and all I do is I lower this arm. Okay? All I do is I'm going to wrap it. I'm going to hug your leg. And then I'm going to pivot my knee down. Okay? I'm going to shoot that arm down. I'm going to wrap your leg. I'm going to pivot my knee down. So I'm in my over-under. I'm going to go knee down. Okay? Wrap my arm. In and around your leg. Okay? And after taking my outer part of my hand on the outside of your leg. And let go of this arm. Now, up until now, I've kept this. So bring your body down. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to lift my elbow. And this is what we call wrap arm saving. So now, what I've done is really lessen the space from which to work with, which makes your leg tighter. And now what I can do is I can start to drive it down and finish it off. So I'm in this position right here, my shoulder's behind your knee, starting to come down behind your knee and pushing that knee forward, because what I want to do is I want to push your knee. Okay? And then, again, wrap that arm around. Okay? Hook my elbow, push my elbows. Again, elbows in. Okay? And I'm not out here with this leg. This leg is back. I've kind of like sneak attack on your leg. which means I've lowered myself, I'm wrapping around, and I'm sliding right around your leg. Okay? So I'm doing here, I've made you step. Okay? I'm raising this elbow, my lowers have already lowered, I'm stepping, wrapping. Okay? I'm up, and my arm, bend the knee, and now I'm starting to force your knee down with my shoulder. Okay? Everything is still tight. I've got your knee down, and now what I do is I call it climbing the ladder. Okay? I'm actually going to climb up your body. Okay, or up your leg to get around your body. I let go of my elbow. Okay, I hook your knee, and now I start to hook your hip, and now I start to drive into your butt with my shoulder. Okay, and now I've finished off. That's our single leg. Okay. Now, again, I circle that side, I tap that side. Now double leg. And you have a whole slew of doubles you can do. You can do just a straight penetration double, okay? You can do a stand-up double where you're actually posting your head and your chest and hooking your knees. But essentially a double is a double. You just wrap both legs together and you double them down, take them down. Okay, and the way we work it off our under and over hook tie, okay, or chest-to-chest tie is my head in the chest, up inside, okay? Hook on this side, okay, pummel in on the far side, shoulder in, okay? And now you're going to push, okay, I'm going to push into you, and again, what's going to happen, okay? What's going to happen is you're going to push back. And I might have to jockey you around a little bit. Because if I circle you, I might get you to circle too much. Like if I push into you, and you push back, and I circle you too much, when you're actually stepping in, too much with one leg, I'm going to have to come back the other side. You see what I'm doing? I do what's called squaring up. Okay, it's funny because I went throughout high school, I learned squaring up then. Until I actually started teaching. And then I started analyzing things. What squaring up means is that the guy's feet, if you look at our feet, if you look at our hips, if you look at our shoulders, these point are square. Okay? Talk about angles. Okay? If you turn a guy, okay, this is what you call an angle. And the reason why I call it an angle is because you form a triangle. And that's the way you attack. Okay, you attack at an angle or you attack squaring up. Usually when you square up, you do a fireman's carry, you do a double leg, so forth. And so what I want to do on the double leg is I want to square you up. So I get into my over and under, okay, head in, overhook, underhook, I start pushing. I want to make sure I square you up. So I might get you to circle this way, but again, get you to come back and circle that way. And as I do that, again, I'm lowering, and you start to raise up. Now what I'm doing is I'm going to raise this arm, I'm going to penetrate not to the outside, but to the inside. And again, knee over toe in our penetration step. Okay, a lot of guys make the mistake of putting the knee down where the toe is. And you've lost penetration that way. And then they drag this back knee. You lose penetration by doing that. So simple rule is you go knee over toe, which means if I take my knee over my toe, I'm going to get a deeper penetration. Okay? So as I drop down, I go knee over toe, I wrap. Okay? Go knee down, okay? And I can take you back this way, but what I'm going to do is I think I'm going to try to take you in a circle. I'm going to lift you up. So I go keep driving. Till you're down. And that's essentially how our double legs work. Okay, and again, from the chest, up inside, over and under, push, make sure you got square. Raise, drop. Now, two fundamental moves there. Let's say the last move. It's probably more complex than the other two. Because you really have to make sure that the guy doesn't turn the corner and really try to get his weight down on top of you. So we're going to high crotch. And essentially, what we've done so far is kind of moved you. In order to attack that leg, we move that leg towards us. In order to get you square, we kind of did a little both. We kind of, again, finagled you to get square. So we went both sides. Now we're going to attack that side. So So what's going to happen is I want to try to circle that side towards me. And again, head and the chest, okay? Up inside, over and under, okay? Underhook, overhook, I push. What happens, you push back, you react back, okay? So I start backing up, and now, as I back up, I circle and snap, which gets you to step forward. Now what happens, again, I go into raising that arm, lifting it up, I step, lower my levels and step, okay, step, and now I shoot this arm up. I try to aim at getting my shoulder right into your groin area. The higher I am up in your hips, the more control I have on your hips, the harder it's going to be for you to defense me. So if I can always try to aim my shot at your hip, and maintaining, keeping my shoulder in your hip groin area, I'm going to be in a better position. We talked about positions so far. There's a certain position on a high crotch and you try to maintain. Okay, so first I go up. Okay, first I go up, and then I wrap down. Okay, I go up, hip in, not back on your haunches. Okay, not back on your butt, but hip in. You're going to almost pretend that your hip, okay, is affixed to his knee. Because then there's no gap there for him to counter. So the arm is usually going in, and now, like on a wrap-on single, I wrap it around his leg. And then I hook my elbow. So hip in, back straight, head up, and then shoulder in his groin, hip area. This toe is not way up here, not out here, but back. Because I'm going to continue to drive off this toe. Okay, and eventually what's going to happen, I'm going to drive across and switch off to my double. It's my first thing that I'm going to do right off my high crotch is drive off to a double. I think you would agree, 2 legs is better than 1, right? So that's why anytime I shoot a high crotch, I always want to try to switch off to a double leg. Head and the chest, up inside, okay, over and under, chest to chest, okay, hip in, I'm going to push, you start pushing back. As you push back, I circle, he steps, you step, raise that elbow, lower my level, step, lower my level, shoot that arm up. The reason why we shoot that arm up is because if you try whipping into me right away, what's going to happen is I'm going to drive you up. I'm going to use your hip pressure to actually catapult you up and over me. It'll look something like this. So I'm over and under, I push, you push back. Okay, as I lower, you start pulling hip up. I'm going to throw you right up in the air. Okay, that's what I want to do right off the bat, is have that arm go up. I think that also ensures that my shoulder's up in your groin area, your hip area. Okay? And that's necessary because, again, the more control I have of your hip, you got to realize your hips are your center of your body. Where your hips go, your body goes. So if I can control your hips, I can control your whole body. So if I keep my shoulder in your hip, I have that control. The more I move down your leg, the more loss I have of your hips. The easier it is for you to counter me. If I attack your knee bends, okay, and you can circle, you can sprawl back, you can do a lot of things to me. That's why I'm going to try to step in your hip. Hold your head in, over and under, push, and you push back, switch back, you step, I raise, I drop down, go up, and then down. Okay, shoulder in, head up, back straight. You got to keep your back straight. Okay, hip in, back straight. Toe back, okay, and this is the position I want to maintain. Okay, and what now I've done is I've transferred all the weight. We don't have any weight in this foot. All the weight's on this foot. So if I come across and I cut that leg out, now you're going down. Okay? So, as a defensive person, when I shoot in, your reaction most likely is to do what? Sprawl back. So sprawl back, not only sprawl back, but also try to get an angle on me, okay, and circle. The reason why I do that is you try to get weight on top of me. That's your way of countering me. So, in my stance, I move in, from the chest, up, over and under, push, and push back. I circle, you step, I raise, I drop, I go up first, okay, and then down. And as you start to circle, okay, as you start to circle this leg back, and again, I try to emphasize and keep my hip with your knee. So if your knee goes back, my hip goes back with it. Every time you pull back and try to get away from me, I move in. And I do that by driving and by picking up this knee right here, and moving it in closer. So if you start to pull back, I'm driving and moving in. And it looks like this. Try to keep that in. And eventually I get to my double leg. And again, this is the type of motion you want. You want to be right here. Okay, hip in, back straight, leg tight, extend it. I want to extend it, have control of it. And I drive off, okay, and in, and across. And pick it up, okay, drive off, pick it up, okay, try to keep that hip in your knee. When we first started under and overseas chest series, we first talked about fundamentals. Talked about a wrap arm signal, a double A, and a high cross. Okay, something that you may have a good feel for already, that you just need some brushing up on, as far as just little points here and there to really be successful at finishing those off. Next thing I'm going to show you is something just slightly more advanced. Okay, as far as over and under, but really not considered real finish-offs. Okay, it could be also considered as a way of setting up another move. So it's kind of in between a finish-off and a setup. It can be considered both. So what we're going to try to do is, again, get in our over and under position, going to move in, head and chest, come up inside, again. Keeping in mind our stance, our motion, our positioning. Coming in, up and in, over, up, under, up, right into our over and under tie. Now, one of the things that I like to use a lot, and I've had a lot of success at it, is by staying inside, by hanging on this arm, you have a great opportunity, as I'm pushing in, and you start reacting back, is I just do what's called a little knee tap. And what I do is I push in, I circle, and as I do the circle, see what happens as you post here. All your weight goes on this toe here, on this foot, on this entire side. So what I do is I use that against you. What I do is I take my hand, I drive on the outside of your knee, and what happens is it gets you committed to that side, and eventually what's going to happen is you're going to fall down your hip. So I get into my over and under, I push. As you push back, I circle. As you circle, I'm pulling down. Okay? I'm pulling down. And this other side hand comes across and actually posts on the outside of your knee. Up. Slightly above your knee. Okay? And the door posts just above the knee. Now, penetration is important because you penetrate with a certain foot. The other foot is no good. You have to penetrate with the right foot. So as I'm in here, okay, from the over and under, as I circle, okay, I don't want to penetrate with this outside foot. Because where's my weight? My weight is on the outside foot. As I start to come down, I start to pick. Is there any weight in that foot? Well, no. Because my weight is on this toe. Therefore, it can't possibly be on your leg here. And if it's not on your leg, what's going to happen is as I start to reach and block, okay, knee tap, you're going to put my leg back. See that? Okay, and therefore it doesn't work. That's the wrong foot. You don't penetrate outside, okay, same side with the outside foot. You penetrate across. Okay, again, head and chest, over and under, push, and as you push back, I circle, you step. Now what I do is I penetrate across. Okay, I bring the far side foot, okay, to this to this foot. And now what happens is, see, all my weight now transfers to this foot, and it's closer to the foot that I want to post with, or leg I want to post with. So as I start to block, now all my weight is on that leg. Now you can't possibly take that. Can you take it out? No, you can't, because all the weight is down here on that leg. So there's a right way, there's a wrong way, okay, as far as stepping. And you have to know that. Because what I want to do is I'm going to take all my weight and I want to place it right on your knee right there. So as I drive up over it, okay, as I drive up over it, you can't pull back and defense me. You know, you can't spell back. Hand the chest, okay, good position. Come up inside, get in that over and under position. I start pushing in, you start pushing back. Okay, you get my hip in, weight in, good position, you start pushing back. Okay, I circle it, lower my levels. As I circle, to get you to step. As you step, you commit yourself. Okay, on this foot right here, you commit yourself. And as you do that, I start pulling down. Okay, I start sagging with that arm. I step. Wait, step toe to toe. Okay, and drop my hand. Underfoot comes down, drops, blocks. On that knee, all my weight is now transferred to this posted foot. And it's going to make it harder, and almost impossible for you to pull it back, and leads to me being able to drop it. And again, this can be construed as not only a finish off, but also as a way of setting up. Because I can use like a fake, a knee block, and come back and do something else. And go right back into another finish off tie-up type of move, and that is a foot sweep. And the way foot sweeps work is, what I want to try to do is I want to try to move you. I want to try to get you, as you're stepping down, as you're starting to plant your weight on a foot, I want to try to get you to, I'm going to try to block your foot as you come down. Essentially what I want to do. So if I can just show you for a minute what I want to do, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get you shifting back and forth, just by circling it. And just to show you, so you can see it, what I'm actually doing, is as I start to circle you, as you start to plant, okay, as you start to plant, that's when I want to block. And a lot of people think foot sweeps, you kick the guy, and you don't kick the guy. Okay, all you do is it's like tripping. What I want to try to do is trip you. So, and the way you trip a person is as they start to plant, you block. Put your foot up and you block. So that's the way I want to look at it. As you start to come down on that foot, that's when I'm putting my foot up to block. And that's what makes you fall. Trip. And that's what we call foot sweep. And again, it's coordination. It's anticipation of knowing when you're going to plant that foot. So if I gave my over and under, tie up inside, okay, over and under. What I want to do is I'm going to push in, and this is really what I want. I want you to push in, because what happens is I want to get your weight up off the ground. So it causes you to plant, to want to get back down and plant your foot. So if I can kind of raise you, okay, I'm going to circle you, I'm going to push in. As you push back, I'm going to raise you. And the way I raise is by staying inside. I stay inside and I raise you. Okay, I extend my body, and which in turn extends your body. So when your body extends, your weight goes up in the air, and then what I can do is I can just put my leg out there and block and throw it across and sweep you. So again, head and chest, over and under. I push into it, push back. As you push back, I'm raising. And what I have to do in order to raise you is I actually have to come in and get my hips up underneath you. So I step in, okay, penetrate in, okay, on this toe. And I have to kind of commit myself. I have to bring my hips in with you. I can't go back here. I can't have my butt back and expect to go foot sweep. I've got to get myself in. Toe in, hips in. And as I do that, and as you start to press into me, I'm going to turn you. Because as I turn, as I circle it, it's going to have you put your foot down, and I'm going to throw you. So I'm pushing. As you start to push back, you're trying to push back into me, trying to get weight over me. I'll put my weight, I'm going to step. I'm going to step in, and now I'm going to pull. And as I pull, you're going to step. And as you step, I'm going to time it just right when I actually block your foot. When I step, and that's the way foot sweep works. I'm raising your weight, I'm shifting your weight, and I'm anticipating you to stepping down. Anticipating you stepping down on that foot. And as you step down, I put my foot out there, block. And again, it's coordination. I step in to get my hips in, step in, shift, and block. Okay, the little drill that you can do here, and it's something that was taught to me by a former Olympian, is when you just tie it just like this. And when you're going forward or backwards, all I do is I hop. Okay? So if you're going back, all you have to do is walk back. Okay? Okay, as you walk back, I step in and I catch your foot. Okay? And what it does, it coordinates you, okay, as far as knowing when to pick up that foot. And the same thing you do to me. As I walk back, you step in, you hop. Okay? Step in, hop. Step in, hop. And that's what you try to do. You try to learn how to shift your weight back and forth. Until the only way to do is by being on your toes. You got to be on your toes. Talk about motion on toes. In order to know when, anticipate when he's going to put his foot down. So I can then shift that weight, make it easier for me to trip. You know, it's again, you practice it. And it's not an easy thing to do, but eventually once you get it, you don't lose it. Okay? Head to chest, up inside, over under, you push in. Okay, I push back, you push in, I circle you, Okay, and now what I do is I stay inside, I step in, I commit myself, get my hips in, okay, and now I shift your weight. Okay? And that's the way it works. Now that's to finish off. And then what I then, essentially I do is I come down with you and go proceed to get my back points. Coming down top here. And again, we can use this to set up other things. Because what happens is when I'm moving in and I get a little under, if I go here, okay, if I start going here, what's going to happen? You're going to be concerned that I'm not foot sweeping. So what you're going to do is you're going to make every emphasis possible to keep that leg back, so I can't do that. You're going to keep your hips back. Okay? So if you keep your hips back, now we get back to what we taught you first time. Okay, when we started this, as far as other setups that you can use, and that is to get back to our knee block. Because if I take this foot back, now this foot is forward, right? If I do here, and we pull that back, now what I do is I switch and come across. I go right into my knee block. So we use them together. Conversely, now watch. Okay? Head in, you move in, you get under, start pushing in. Now if I go like this, if I go knee block, okay, what's going to happen? If I block, you're going to go there, I'm going to step in, okay, and I'm going to sweep. So you use them together. One to the other, back to the other, back to the other, use them back and forth. What it does is it gives you something to do on both sides. I can come this side, do something, I come back this side, do something, okay? Block this side, foot sweep this side, foot sweep this side, and go back and forth. And get you really going. And again, get you opening up. Okay? I might block that side, and I might block one on the next side. And that's such as this. And head to chest, over and under. I might go here, and we pull that back, and I just drop down. So you use it as a way of setting up other moves. You might catch them back home and get them down. Okay? Now, one other thing that's kind of like that, okay? What you would do is use it as a way as a tie-up, and as a finish-off, okay, or a setup. And that is to what we call crotching. What you do is you actually, the guy that keeps his hips in. Okay, what you do is you actually go in his crotch, try to pull his hips in tight. Almost like the bear hug, same idea as pulling a guy in. And the crotch do the same thing. Try to pull his hips in. Once you have control of his hips, you have to control the rest of his body. Okay, so the head in his chest, I go over and under, I start pushing, you start pushing back, I start circling, trying to get your hips in, and as I get your hips in, okay, I step in, and I control your hips, just by cupping. I cup, you have your tailbone back, and what I try to do is I try to aim for your tailbone, okay, and try to pull your hips in. So I'm here, I'm Try to get your hips in, especially if the guy's a real old guy, he likes to keep his hips in. He's a freestyler, he likes to try to keep his hips in. Guy tries to throw you or something, he tries to step around and throw you, step around, try to throw him this side, then on this side. That's it. Okay, then what you try to do is you try to come inside here. Anytime he tries to bring his hips in, tries to come around the side here, I come in and I hook his hips. And then what I can do is I can actually just drop and take it down. But again, you can use it as a way of finishing off, you can use it as a way of setting up. And let me give you an example of both ways of using it. Head and chest, up and side, over and under. I start pushing in, you start pushing back. Okay? A circle. Okay? I got your hips in now. Now I come down. Okay? And this time I want to get over the arm. And now I hook. I keep my other hook. Keep my other hook. Pull those hips in. Okay? And all of you are going to step around, block, and take it down. Okay? When you're at the foot sweep, take it across. Okay? But right here, once I have your hips, now I can control your body, I can take it down. Okay, we can't back out. That's the way of finishing it off. The way you can use it as a setup is by doing this. Faking it. Head and chest, up inside, over and under. I start pushing in. Okay? You start pushing in. You start pushing back. That circle. I start going inside. What happens is you pull your hips back. Okay? Once you pull your hips back, okay? Once you pull your hips back, then I start stepping in. Right over here. Now it's it. So that, in a sense, is a way you would use it as a setup. I come in, I crotch, you pull your hips back, now I come back across, and I foot sweep. So now you're using it as a setup. It's kind of a mixture of a setup and a finish up. So head and chest, up inside, over and under, push back, and circling. Okay? And now I step in, and pull your hips back, I block, or if I have it deep enough, I step around, take it away. That's called a crotch. A lot of variations you can do off of two. Okay? Okay, head and chest, over and under, so the guy forces in over here. Guy circle, when you force in, you try to get double unders. Okay? You try to get double unders. What happens is I go around the head, and come back. Now I'll get your head, but then get your crotch. Whereas what you do is what you think you're going to get double unders, and now I turn around and crotch you. Okay, so again, to reiterate what we went over, a little bit more advanced techniques as far as little setups, but action which can be finish-offs. If you catch the guy cold, head and chest, up inside, over and under, I circle, I step and I block, okay? I step and block, and he pulls it back, I come back and I sweep, okay? I sweep, because now you're getting your hips back, I sweep, okay? And then, I drive down and crotch. I come in, I circle it, step down and crotch. Okay, you get your hips back, come back and sweep, okay? Come back and block, sweep, okay, step in, okay? So use one move to the next, and you keep going back and forth, trying to catch the guy. That's how you use it as a setup. Okay, up until now, we talked about some fundamentals from the over and under. We've talked about some brief setups, finish-offs on over and under. Now we want to get to the hardcore type of throws. We actually get some exciting stuff going here. And what we're going to do is we're going to go back and use some of those setups that we just looked at and incorporate them in a way of trying to get the guy to move. Okay, and so it enables us to get better throws. Okay. Now what we're going to do, okay, we're going to move in. First we're going to start out with some simple arm throws, shoulder throws, and arm spins. And the way we differentiate them amongst each other depends on the varying degree of the shoulder, where your shoulder is located. If your shoulder is located all the way to the inside, it's more of an arm throw, and you'll see why. If it's underneath the shoulder, it's more of a shoulder throw. And if it's on the outside of the shoulder, it's more of an underarm spin. And we'll show you how to differentiate them by actually doing them. Okay, head and chest, up inside. Okay, I'm going to push. Okay, get into the over-under. Okay, now, what we're going to do to try to set them up is I'm going to push. As you push back, let me just fake a foot sweep. Okay, I'll take a foot sweep because what that's going to do is going to draw your hips back. Okay, you're going to be more conscious that I'm trying to get in and just going to pull your hips back. So then what we do in the meantime is one of three things. Okay, and again, we're getting into either arm throw, or arm or shoulder throw, or underarm spin. And again, depending on where our shoulder is located, it's going to dictate what move it is. Okay, if I step in, step into the other foot, and I shoot my shoulder to the outside, and what it's going to be, it's going to locate it on the outside of the shoulder. This is an arm spin. Our head stays inside. It's not shooting out like a fireman's carry, but actually stays on the inside. So as we step, we bring them both together to meet this foot of yours. We're pushing, okay, we're swooping, okay, and step. So step, shoot this arm up and arch, okay? We shoot this arm up and arch, head on the inside, and now we just hug this arm tight and wrap the shoulder. And as we drop down, we spin. That's why it's called an underarm spin. Japanese visit, whatever you want to call it. I call it an underarm spin. Because what I'm doing is I'm spinning underneath your arm. Okay, and I'm using my foot sweep. Okay, inside, over, under, I push, you push back. Okay, I sweep. Okay, I circle, I step. Okay, and I shoot this arm. Okay, I use that foot sweep, okay, to set it up. Try to get your hips back. Okay, and I shoot this arm up. Okay, and now I wrap it on your shoulder. I hook your shoulder, I hook the tricep, and now arch, fall back my head, and spin. And that's how we do an arm spin. So very easy, not hard at all. Okay, again, foot sweep. Try to get him circling, shifting his hips back. And then what we do is we circle back, step. Okay? We step, get our feet together, or you can back step if you want. I don't care for back stepping. I have a hard enough time walking without having to try to do a back step. So all I do is I kind of just step, or hop to try to set up most of my throws. So I'm going to step, pull that arm up, hook, tricep, hook the shoulder, okay, arch, and spin. Okay? Now, this time what we're going to do, instead of keeping our shoulder outside, okay, instead of keeping it outside here, shoulder's outside of the shoulder, I'm going to bring it in and underneath your shoulder. Now this is what we call shoulder throw. Because now what I'm doing, I'm using my shoulder to throw your shoulder. Okay, and it's going to work like this. Head in the chest, up inside, over under, I start pushing. You start pushing back, I circle. Okay? On my sweep, try to set up, put your feet back, I circle, step. Okay, and this is where, instead of step, this is where I hop. Okay, I hop. Okay, just turn, lower my levers. Okay, so I get up underneath it. Okay, and then what I do is I drop my shoulder underneath your shoulder. Okay, I drop my shoulder underneath your shoulder. Okay, lower my levers, hook this tricep, hook the shoulder, go down to your knee. Well, if you want to stay up to your feet, it's purely up to you. But I drop down to my knees because I get a lot more lift that way. And now I just bring this arm forward and throw. And then come back into this pivot position as you would on your underarm spin. And again. Head in the chest, up inside, over and under, push, you push back. I sweep, try to get you off guard. Okay, drop. Hop, hook the shoulder. Again, don't want our elbows out, we want them in. Which means we hug this arm and the shoulder and snap. And that's our shoulder throw. Okay? Now, do an underarm spin, shoulder outside. Get a shoulder throw, shoulder underneath. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do an arm throw, which means our shoulder is going to be on the inside. And here we're really going to have to really sweep. Okay, sweep the guy. So we actually get this type of motion where I actually kind of sweep them around, and now what I'm going to do is come back, just like a slingshot. Sweep you around, and slingshot you back. So, get in, head in the chest, up inside, over and under, you push in, and you start to push in. I go to sweep. Okay, and especially when guys anticipate that you're going to sweep. Because when I start to sweep, what happens? If I go like this, what are you going to do? You're going to get your hips back, and you're going to hop over it. So if I'm pushing, and I start to go and sweep you, push in, come on. You push in, and I go this way, what happens is, I go and sweep, you hop over, now what happens? You're over on this side of me, now what I'm going to do is take this underhook arm, okay? Go bicep to bicep, and hook. If you can tell, you can see my shoulder is, okay, on the inside, okay, as opposed to underneath or outside. It's on the inside. And when I hop, okay, lower my hips, okay, duck them through, they come out the back, and now I pull and I throw. Okay, so my head is in the chest, I come up inside, I go over and under, I start pushing in, you start pushing back, okay, I go to sweep. What happens when I sweep? When you step over it, I go bicep to bicep, I still have that hook on that tricep, hook the shoulder, okay, hop, hit through, and throw. And that's what we call an arm throw. And it's, the reason why I call arm throw is because it's really arm to arm. We call it shoulder throw because it's really shoulder to shoulder. And we really call it arm spin is because I'm really just spinning around your arm. And that's the difference between those type of moves. Now, there's some fun throws. It's something that you're not going to go hierarchy into the air. Now we're going to move into something where you really get some launch, some orbiting. And that's into some saltos, different puller stroke, and so forth. And it requires that I get a body lock land, which means we've been concentrating on attacking your legs and attacking an arm. Now what we want to try to do is attack, okay, your upper part of your body. And this is, okay, in here, what we're going to try to do is do some saltos now. We'll go head and chest, okay? I'm going to go inside, over and under. And again, instead of trying to attack your legs, coming down and attack your legs, instead of attacking an arm, now what we're going to try to do is try to attack your body, okay, by trying to get your arms caught in, and then actually do some real nice throwing. Okay, and the way we do this is we're in our over and under position. I start pushing into you, you start resisting back. As you resist back, I circle, because I'm going to step in. Because as your hips come in, I'm going to drop down. Okay, and again, I like to try to stay inside. I'm going to try to stay inside so I can actually force your arm across. Okay, and get a little tight with your body. So head in the chest, over and under. I push, you push back. I circle. Okay, I'm throwing your arm in, I'm lowering my levels. I'm stepping. Okay, and now I'm coming over the top and locking. Stepping behind. And as I lower, okay, and trap this arm. The idea is to trap this arm into your side. As I lower, I step around. Okay, I have the arm trapped now. Okay, I go palm to palm. Okay, cover my hands. Okay, palm to palm, cover my thumb. Okay, and lock, cross lock. Okay, as I step around, I try to go heel up by the knee, drop down on my heel. Okay, so I actually plant and pinch my knees. And I can take the safe way out, which is just a simple pull stroke, okay? Just a simple pull stroke, and dropping down, going to my hip, not to my butt, to my hip. And actually, as I hit the mat, I make sure I come out perpendicular, which means my body, okay, is going to be this way, not parallel, perpendicular, against your body, not with your body. So as I drop down, I want to make sure that I hold my hip and I get him out to the side. Otherwise, as I drop it, If I stay this way, what's going to happen? Well, you're going to roll on top of me. My momentum by dropping down, will enable you to roll me over. So I'm going to make sure that when I hit, I split my hands. This goes back to my over and under, okay, and I move my hips out sideways into you, as opposed to with your hips, okay? So hand the chest, over and under, I push, you push back, I circle, I get you to step, I drop down, okay, I lock and I step around, okay? Step in, lock and step around. Drive that heel down. Heel up and down. And pinch. Step in, heel up and down, pinch your knees. Okay? Make sure your legs are working all the time. Pinch the knees, drop to a hip. And this is what you call one of the safer throws. Hip, slip, come out. Okay? Nothing real flashy about it, nothing real high-arcing about it. But, a nice way of turning the corner as I block your arm and just dropping right down on top of you. Now, the key to throwing, okay, doing soft toes, is to make sure you have your hips in tight, and I have to get hip to hip, okay? If I go in front of you, I have to make sure that as you pull your hips in, my hips go with it. Okay? Which is very hard because you bend this way. It's harder to bend this way than it is this way. So whenever you're doing, a belly to belly in the front, it's really hard to do. So what I tell guys is, if you want to take an easier throw, get to the side of the hip. Okay, that way the guy can't pull a sit out as much. Okay, it makes it easier for you to throw. So we're going to look something like this. I go head in the chest, okay, over and under, okay, and I start pushing in. As you push back, I circle you, okay, I drop down, I put that arm in, push it right against your side, drop down, lock. Okay, instead of falling to my hip, okay, I'm pinching, I'm going hip to hip. Okay, it's harder for you to pull your hip out this way. Right? And so what's going to happen is I'm going to drop down, I'm going to pop my hips in, and I'm going to hold you tight. And the way I teach guys to throw is I tell them, always throw to the trap side, which means if this is a trap side, this is the side I'm throwing to. If I throw you this way, that's not to the trap side, that's to the exposed side. This arm is out. I'm not saying you can't throw this side, but it's a lot harder, it's a little bit more dangerous. It is a little more safer by throwing to the trap side, because I'm going to land you right on your shoulder and your back. Okay, your head is going to be tucked in, okay, so you're not going to hurt your head. I'm going to concentrate on putting you back here. Now, if you're not comfortable throwing, I would suggest you just fall back, not throw a lot of hip in, and just roll. Something like this. Just drop down and roll back, which is what most guys do anyway. But as you get more comfortable with it, as you start learning to develop your hip motion, then you want to start using your hip pop. I push in, I circle you, okay? I step in, I lock, I start stepping around, and now I stay tight, I pinch, that keeps me tight, keep my hip in, elbows pinched, and now what I do is I look to where I'm going to throw you. So I'm going to look on my right shoulder, look back and up, and I'm going to throw you right on your shoulders. Hip in, okay, and start to squat and pop. And if you notice, you came right down across your shoulders. And there we got a little bit more height as far as throwing the hips up over. Okay, probably 4. Okay. Now, we've done everything to the same side here. Okay, what happens is if I'm attacking you on this side, you have a fear of me doing this. So what's going to happen is you're going to start to do what? Well, I'll show you. I get my head in, I start going over and under. If I start going this way, and I start stepping in, right, that's what I was trying to step around, you're not going to be doing it. You're going to back out. So you back out, it's going to make it very hard for me to throw you, okay, by trying to circle around that area. So what I'm going to have to do is A couple things. I can either continue to stay on that side and try to work that side, or I can shift to the other side. Let me show you some of the options that we can do on this side. Okay, and then let's move to the other side. And the chest over and under, I start pushing in, you start pushing back, I get a step, a drop, okay, I start locking, you step out of it. Now, one thing is if I really die hard on getting this throw, what I can do is I can try to step in, suck up that gap between us, and actually try to throw from behind. Right here, step in, okay, and instead of being to the side, be in front. Okay, step in, okay, step around, okay, it's like this. From here, I step in, I start stepping around, you step back, okay, I continue to step in, okay, and throw this way. Okay, throw it from the belly, right here. And over, I can do that, which is harder, because you, again, whenever you try to throw from face on, it's a lot harder because you can pull your hips back. The defensive man can pull his hips back. It's probably more logical, okay, and more safer, okay, is as I push in, okay, circle back, step in. As I go to step around, if you pull back, okay, I step around, you pull back. What I'm going to do is face it. You hip in this way. Okay? Keep going in this direction. Okay? I just lower you down. Keep my hip in front of you. Right there. Okay? I keep my hip in front of you. I can kick this up. Okay, come across. Hip. Nothing really done. Again, it depends on the volume degrees that we get in there. Okay? I might just be enough to block there. I just keep, instead of that, spinning you around, bringing you down. Or, I may be able to get a little further. Okay, which means, okay, I'm going to hop in, kick this up. Okay? And throw it. Or, I can possibly get my hips all the way through. Stepping in, hips all the way through. And raising them. Okay? But the idea there is, when I step around you, when you step back, is to keep going in that motion, turning my hip in. So I'm here, push, you push back, I circle, I lower, I start stepping around, you start stepping out, and I just keep my hips in there. Okay? And you loosen up and get a headlock. A lot of options you can do there. The idea is keep your hips going in that direction. Okay? So, that steps out, you have a few things you can go to on this side. Alright? Now, that steps out, you can also go across to the other side. And what we do this is head in the chest, up inside, over and under. You start driving in. Okay, you start pushing out, circling. You step. Okay, I go on my levels. Okay, so lock up, I start stepping around, what happens? Okay, you're breathing. You keep pulling back, pull back, alright? And now what I do, instead of going hip in, instead of stepping in, what I do is just step around. Step all the way around this side. All the way around this side. And now what I do is I'm going to take it back this way. Okay, not in front of you, but more at an angle this way. Okay, and the way it's going to go, I'm going to look back to see where I'm going. Okay, I'm going to throw it over your back to the trap side. Drop. Okay, drop on the other side. Throw. So, go to this side doesn't work, go to the other side, that side might work. Okay. From the chest, moving under, you start pushing in, circle. Okay, I drop down. Okay, start stepping around. Okay, get deep. Step around, throw. Okay, trap the other side. Okay. Good. Okay, Steve, what we've done is we've gone over an over and under series. And we've taken it from doing basic fundamental moves, such as your single doubles, high crotches, all the way till doing more advanced techniques such as your arm throws and your salto throws and your hip throws. And in between there, we showed you some little setups that you can use not only as finish-offs, but also as a way of setting up other moves. So we really covered a very broad spectrum of different moves that you can do from the over-under series. We only touched a small portion of the things you can do. There's other things that you can do off this over and under. And let me just get in here. You know, if you like fireman's carries, you can do fireman's carries. Okay, where you're pushing, you're circling. Okay, and you're dropping. Okay, you can do fireman's carries. Okay, you can do duck unders, push. Okay, push, circle. Okay, duck unders. Okay, going under. You can do your arm drags, push, circle. Do your arm drags. Just about any move that I can think of, you can do from here. You know, you move on your feet as far as attack on your feet, you can essentially do from this over and under. It's a very good series. It's a more advanced series because what it requires that you move in closer than ever before with a tie up, and to use it, okay, as far as staying in a good position and moving your guy to what you want to do as far as type of move. So I think you've learned a little bit of what an over and under is. Again, what you want to try to do is not emphasize on shooting from the outside, but working close with the guy. Getting close, maintain position, okay? Watch how you tie up as far as posting your head, don't reach, okay? Keep your elbows in, your head up, keep your stance the same, and then use your motions. You're pushing, you're pulling, you're circling side to side, and you're snapping down, and then finally, to cap off everything, then you do your shot. So I think we covered a broad spectrum of things that we can do from this over and under.